But UX is really, really special. It's about communication. It's about perspective. It's about understanding the deep needs and wants and desires of the user. Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Cyré, a UX designer who is obsessed with color and accessibility, and let's talk about UX. So a lot of people ask me, Cyré, what is UX? What does it do? How does it even matter? And don't worry, I'm here to tell you all the tea about UX. So basically, user experience is something that is important in applications and products. It connects you, the user, to the product. I am your advocate in that boardroom. I am the one looking out for your perspective. I am the one giving you the features that you want in the applications. If there's already an existing application, I am the one who's in the room helping to make it better. I am the one listening to your fears, listening to your ideas, listening to your excitement, and putting it all together into a cohesive application just for you. But don't get me wrong, things can go wrong in this process when people don't prioritize the user. We have to always remember that the user is king. I know we've heard it before. The customer's always right. The customer's always right. But in this case, I'm going to say the customer is usually right, right? The credit for UX usually goes to a couple guys. One being Donald Norman, who wrote the book, The Design of Everyday Things. He was a cognitive psychologist who really was trying to understand this relationship between products and the human experience. And another person some credit goes to is Nielsen. If you have watched TV, you have been a part of Nielsen's surveys, been a part of his research, been a part of him collecting information. As human beings, we've evolved, right? So far, leaps and bounds. We don't have flying cars yet. Elon Musk, if you're listening to this, hurry up. But it's gone a ways further than we thought that it would go. Now that we're talking to each other on our phones, globalization has really made us one little quaint human community. We can talk to somebody who is in the remote of remote places based on technology, based on the internet, based on all of the products that we have today. Those products we have today were made better by people like myself, UX designers, who really sat down, had conversations, performed surveys, wrote empathy maps, did things like journey maps to really understand what it is that you want in your application. Don't worry, if all of these terms are confusing to you, I will explain all of them to make sure that you understand what's really going on behind these doors when people are making decisions on your behalf. Along the way, we're going to talk about things like journey maps, user empathy maps, UI, motion designers, graphic designers, product designers, visual designers, web developers. There's so many things to talk about when we talk about this world of UX, because all of those people play an integral part in making the application a huge success. We all need each other in order to steer the ship off into the sunset or land the 360 double flip. Whichever analogy lands and resonates with you, take that one and run with it. Sometimes it's hard to get the user to explain what it is that they want in an application, but there are tips that you can use in order to get the information that you need. We're going to talk about all these things here on this channel. We're going to do a couple products. We're going to do some deep dives into websites. And there's a big portion, like I mean a huge portion of UX that I'm super, super passionate about, and it's called accessibility. Accessibility, yep, that's right. Accessibility is the idea of making sure that the internet is equitable for lots of different perspectives. Honey, we cannot make the internet safe. That's just not gonna happen. But we can make sure that persons who have different perspectives can use the internet. And when I say persons with different perspectives, for example, if someone has had a baby in the past couple months, congratulations if you're a new mama or papa or a parent watching this channel. You may find that things are a little bit more difficult for you to utilize when you have a baby, because sometimes you're using things with one hand, right? So you have to make sure that the phone sizes are good enough, making sure that they're not too large, because human hands are limited, right? They're not gonna grow anymore. So it will be horrible for a company to make a phone size with a huge screen. It's a plus, but you can't hold it. It's a minus. So that's an idea of what a UX researcher would probably be looking into. so many different perspectives. I will talk about accessibility, I'll talk about color, color stories, brand color stories, how certain brands picked their colors, and honey, there is so much to talk about. So Donald Norman and Jakob Nielsen, or Jacob, created the Norman Nielsen Group. They are kind of heralded as the kings or fathers of UX. Nielsen has a background in engineering, and he invented a lot of usability things that we still use today, like heuristic evaluation / methods. But he had a little bit of controversial ideas and topics on things. He once stated that UIs, user interfaces, the things that you look at, the visual part of applications, are not as important as the entire experience. And I'm here to tell you, honey, that is wrong. Because just like you eat with your eyes when you consume food, when you consume an application or a product, you eat with your eyes first. You want to see, do I like it? Is it aesthetically pleasing? But I understand where he may have been coming from, that function is also important when you're creating products and ideas, because without function, sometimes beauty just doesn't have a place. We need both to make these products and these applications really stand out and work the best for the user. Because once again, remember, user experience is about prioritizing the user's needs for a positive experience with technology or a product. Remember that. Another father of UX is Alan Cooper, who is also known as like the king of Visual Basic. He invented Ruby, which Microsoft took and turned into Visual Design Studio or into Visual Studio. He is one who has also wrote a lot of books about this topic of user and user experience. He's credited with creating personas and a lot of interaction tools that we still use today in UX. I don't know if you noticed this, but those three founders / fathers are all white men. And I know we've been talking about perspective, and perspective is a part of UX. So you tell me, why do we need different people with different perspectives and different walks of life? Because it just helps to enrich the technology experience. We can't all base our ideas and experience and the way that we live off of one idea and one perspective. I am different than those three men. I'm a black woman in tech, which alone, honey, is a unicorn in some places. But that alone brings a lot of perspective into how do black people use certain things. I'm also multi-layered because I am West Indian by birth. That plays a part in it. And when it comes to accessibility, I wear glasses. So there are things that sometimes bother me or really stress my eyes out when I look at it for too long. So when you really think about it, everyone has a perspective to add to this field, and everyone's perspective is valid because, again, we have to make sure that the user is represented, and we all have different experiences. Honey, there's about to be over 1 billion new users coming onto the internet in the next couple years. You think they all think the same way? No, and especially when you think about generational thinking. The way that Generation X thinks is totally different to the way that millennials think. It's totally different to the way that Generation Z thinks. And don't even think about Generation Alpha / pandemic babies. They're gonna have a totally different experience. So you really have to understand that this is something that is vital and critical and important in order to advance the human race, pretty much, and to include our thinking into apps of the future and, honey, even the metaverse. Now, I would be remiss to say that just because those three men have been lauded as the fathers of UX, that there weren't other perspectives that were also added to them. Sometimes history has a way of forgetting how people and things and time has actually affected different industries. So I'm not saying that's the end all be all list of who has created UX, but it's a good start. There's more to add to the conversation, and that is why I am here. There is more to add to the conversation. There's more things to talk about. There's more perspective to be gained. There's more to understand, and there is more that we can do to make this internet space, honey, a good place to be. Because at the end of the day, we're all gonna be here, and we all want to have fun here, right? So that concludes this video for today. Thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, rate, subscribe, send to all of your friends, and come back because I will be posting a lot more videos, but with both educational and technical hands-on things. And you can find me in all these different other social media platforms, and I will see y'all later. Have a good day.